This video will actually talk about our vagrant file, um, actually our fab file, which is going to be used to SSH into our vagrant, and it can also be used to SSH into our AWS server. For now, let's start and try analyzing our vagrant counterpart. We're going to do vagrant up, and this will boot up our vagrant machine. Once this is done, we will use our fab file to SSH into our vagrant. Let's see. So now I'm going to call my fab file using my vagrant instance and call my bootstrap function. We will look later as to what bootstrap does. My vagrant is configured to run this instance on a remote machine on localhost 8080, which will be redirected to our machine on host 8080. Now that our website is deployed, let us go ahead and work on the server. This is currently deploying our site. It says that the website is now available on our vagrant machine. Let's try. And here we go. Our vagrant works. Let's go and look at our Python fab file now. So at first we're using Fabric, so our module functions, whichever are required, are downloaded. We require subprocess to deal with the command line functions. There's an install packages, which installs all the packages which is required to set up our remote machine. Then we have two environments, that is the vagrant and AWS. Vagrant is basically allowing us to SSH into our vagrant file, our vagrant machine, and AWS is setting up our remote virtual machine EC2 instance. This is the public DNS of our instance, and here is our public key available, private key available on my system, where it is going to use it and try logging into the system. Let's talk about the vagrant first. So our bootstrap is basically calling install packages, install virtual environment, then it's going to create a, a, a virtual environment instance once the virtual environment package has been downloaded, and then finally it's going to install all my requirements which is required. So first we called fab vagrant bootstrap. It asked you to use the fabric file with the vagrant instance, and then it called bootstrap. So let's go ahead and look at subinstall packages. So subinstall packages is basically going to install whatever is required to set up the machine. It upgrades my Ubuntu server and downloads matplotlib dominantly. Then it creates a virtual environment instance for me. Basically, it's just downloading the fact that we can create a virtual environment. Then we go ahead and create a virtual instance and make the owner ourselves so that we can activate our virtual environment. Finally, it's going and activating my virtual environment and downloading whatever requirements we have. And this folder requirements is actually created within the vagrant, and then the heart website, and then the requirements.txt. I'll show you why, because my vagrant file is within the folder HR698, and this contains my heart website, which is my software which is supposed to be deployed, and it also contains the vagrant. So once we've SSH'd into the vagrant, it'll even have to go within the heart website folder and then install requirements.txt. Once this is done, we deploy the server, and my uploader.py is my Flask file, which will basically run it on port 5003 if I run it on my own machine. But for the vagrant, I have ensured that the vagrant file is running it on my server 8080 when I log into my host. Next, we come to AWS. So for AWS, we're using an AWS Bootstrap. It does a similar thing of installing packages, creating a virtual environment, installing the virtual environment requirement, then creating a virtual environment and installing Python packages. This portion which is commented will be removed because we require this as well. So what AWS copy does is Vagrant on its own makes sure that whatever is on our system is replicated on the Vagrant machine, but for AWS we have to go ahead and copy those files explicitly on the AWS instance. Let's go ahead and look at our AWS functions now. So the AWS subinstall packages is doing the same thing. I'm using unzip, which I can actually remove now, but I was using it when I was trying to manually SCP, that is copy my files into the Vagrant system. But now I can totally get rid of this if needed. Then I'm going to subinstall the virtual environment the same way we did it for our Vagrant. Create the virtual environment, and finally we're going to before all of this, we actually went ahead and made a folder home, and we copied our present working directory into a folder called home in our AWS instance, which created the current folder over there. And then we went ahead and installed our requirements.txt and activated the server. Once that was done, we can again start the virtual environment and start our website. That's it. Thank you.